Welcome to How to Make a Nigerian Out of Anybody. Today's topic is building sarcasm. We focus on answering questions. So, the first time someone asks you a question, you answer them. Yes. The pidgin principle for this is, person where they ask question, no they lost. That means he who asks a question doesn't miss their way. So, if they're an adult or they're a child, you just answer them because they don't know. That's why they're asking. They ask you, where do I drop this? You show them where to drop it. Step 2, the second time they ask you this question, now you can indulge them. The truth is, they might have forgotten. Yes, the principle behind this is, them don't use and chop eba, or they don't use and play. They've used it to eat eba. So it's possible they've forgotten. If they're a child, they definitely forgot. Step 3, the third time they ask you this question, you have 2 ways to go. If you're a patient person like me, you can answer them. Or you could go the way of typical Nigerians, which is to implement step 4. Because there's a pidgin principle for step 3, which is, they know, they just won't hear your mouth. Yes. Every Nigerian will be thinking at this point that, you know, I've told you 2 previous times, but you're still asking me. You just won't hear my mouth. Step 4 is the classic Nigerian move. Of course, step 4 can be step 3 if you're not patient enough to tell them again. So they ask you, where do I drop this? You answer stupidly. The most classic example is, put it inside here. If it's a child, you just tell them, put it on my head or put it in my nose. They can also ask a question of, but it won't enter. Then you bring out the classic line. Now, be careful. You don't say this to them. You say this to yourself. But you say it out loud enough that they can hear you. They're asking me a nonsense question. Of course, they already know that the question they're asking is a stupid question. And of course, if they're an adult and you say, put it on my head, they should know that you're being sarcastic. This will help them to think. Now, if this doesn't work and they ask you again, then you pull out step 5, giving them a sarcastic answer whilst drawing their attention to the fact that this is recurring too many times. So you go, put it in my mouth. As you know, Sabi, use your head. How many times you don't ask this question? At this time, the person has to ask themselves, why am I asking this question so many times, despite the fact that I've been told? It moves us to step 6. Despite all your valiant efforts, if they ask you again, you pull out the look. Bombastic side eye. So, where do I drop this? You just see that bad eye. Side eye. It's more powerful than your verbal warnings or cautions or instructions that they are taking as suggestions. What it does in their brain is it activates steps 1 to 5. They'll run through all the previous steps and then they'll come to the answer that, oh, this is where I dropped it. If you're able to get anybody to step 6, you've now made a Nigerian out of them. But it might be an acclimatized Nigerian. To make a Nigerian out of anybody, it is step 7. Step 7 is when they want to ask you the question, but then they think of all the steps before asking it. Now, that's an indigenous Nigerian because it has happened to all of us as Nigerians. You want to ask a question. The first thing that comes to your mind, is this a stupid question? Should I ask it? Can I arrive at the answer by myself? If I can't, then there's no need to ask it. So this is the handbook. By the way, if you loved this video and you love things about Nigeria, you might want to check out my other videos. And if you check them out and you like me enough, you might want to give me a follow.